Hello and welcome to the Smooth Sounds of Movie Crap Live, and here I hope we will go. Is it working? Are we going? It says we're live. We'll see. Sorry, this YouTube was suddenly not connecting. Looks like I am. Am I live? Hold on. I like to be able. There we go. Welcome to the Smooth Sounds. Sorry. Of Movie Crap Live. Sorry for the brief technical issues for YouTube for some reason. Not exactly sure why that is, but it did. Are we... Anyway, whoa. I'm just talking all smooth. Thought it'd be cool. Alright, let's say hello to everyone. Hello, Zane Powers, Ryan Walterson. Damn you, Kellogg's ad. Thank you. A guy named Crystal, M. Blood T, Nathaniel Foga, Austin. I was questioning myself if I had said Austin right. Twisted Razor, Purple Goop, Sun, Spot, Mill. I'm always ready for summer. Zane Powers, Mayusa again. Classic Cameron, Bruce Parker, Jordan Salafalo. Hello, everyone. Sorry it is. Wow, kind of late. We're really starting late this time because YouTube was being weird and life and everything in between. So let's just go let's just do the fade and get this shit started. Hello, how is it going? Welcome to Movie Crap Live. We are here. Finally, it is going to be a show. Yes, Gary was trying to steal back his Dark City DVD. He'll never get it. Thank you all for being here. Sorry we are starting so late. I guess we'll go a little late. We'll see. It's been a day. But more so just like trying to get the show started and then it was just like not connecting. And it was weird because it was connecting in my tests. And then suddenly YouTube was like, no, we can't now. And I was like, what? It was weird. It's okay, Ace, because I have a couple surprises. I have a video I made that is kind of a preview of something I'll explain it when we get to the break. Other thing that happened, which is kind of funny, is I'm gonna have the Anthem on tonight to do what to watch. But funny story about that is I guess I don't know how this happened, but they sent me a video and I didn't get to download it till I got home a little bit before the show, and their video is 26 minutes long, and I obviously can't play that's a very long video. So I'm just going to play some of it while I'm taking a break. And then I'll play the rest when the What to Watch video comes out on Monday. So if you want to watch the whole thing, I don't know how that happened, but it did. Whatever. They're very ambitious. So, they had a lot to say. So you can watch that with my segment, and it'll just be in a weird order, I guess. I don't know. We'll just go as we go. Yes, but happy Juneteenth, by the way, to everyone. It's crazy how that has gone from literally, like, I just saw block parties to seeing it kind of covered on the Baltimore news or local news or a little bit on Twitter. And then, I'd like hear rumblings of it, but the Atlanta episode, I think, was the bigger thing for most people. And I had never seen it. I remember in that episode, I'd never seen it that big before, but maybe I wasn't going to any of those things, so I think maybe I didn't know. And now it's like it's like a federal holiday. This is amazing, just seeing the progress and change in my lifetime. I was just like talking about that. What is my nemesis Gary doing here? Jim, why are our walls the same color? Between this and my Dark City DVD, I'm claiming identity fraud. First off, Gary, first off, I had this color first. I believe you moved to LA and became a total New York sellout way after I had already done this. Anyway, I'm sorry. That was way out of line, Gary. I'm sorry. Gary's definitely going to stab me. I think that's like in my future. All right. So Netbot64 says, Nucleates on the Block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick. Good. Oh, I wasn't sure what you're doing at first, but cheers to you. China. I never got that. Chinese food doesn't make you sick. Although it did give me some indigestion today, so maybe today of all days I should agree with that. Cheers to you. Not in Box 64. I still like When's Still My Sunshine. I don't know anything about them after that, but anyway, I love that Dark City DVD. It is a wonderful DVD. That Roger Ebert commentary track, wonderful. Anyway, to talk about things I actually want to talk about. For small talk, I guess I don't have too many. I can't think of a movie. Too much small talk stuff. We did watch Luca tonight, which Sophie was really excited about. It was pretty good. I'll review out later this week. Hopefully Tuesday. We'll see. I'm also doing La Luna. Review of that is one of the segments tonight. Sorry, I feel bad that I said that about Gary. Oh well. He hasn't commented. He went angrily into the night. Not too much. I'm working on a bunch of stuff. A lot of craziness. Oh, there is a possibility there will not be a show next week. I'd say most likely there will not. I will probably post a thing on Friday and retweet it on Saturday. If that is the case, I will definitely, if I know earlier, I'll put it on the Discord. So I'll let you know. Most likely there will not be a show next week. Maybe Gary should give you his Gods of Egypt DVD. First off, Austin, thank you for the super chat. Cheers to you. That is, how dare you? That is barely a trade. Dark City, I know they're by the same director. I would need 5 Gods of Egypt. If Gary gives me 5 Gods of Egypt DVDs, I will give him back his Dark City DVD. I will. I want 5 Gods of Egypt, and I want, and one has to be the 2-disc version. So, what, Zane? I love you. What are you talking about? No, it's just because I think I'm in some family in town again. It seems like people want to see us and stuff, so thus is why. But it's kind of hard to, especially if someone's staying here and stuff, to do the show, really. So that's why. Anyway, before we really get into it, I have noticed so many people talking about Divine a lot this past week, and I wanted to have a little part about that. I think Matt Baum was maybe the first thing I saw, and then I noticed after Lindsay Ellis did her video, I saw a lot of people on Twitter say, "Oh, I'm watching Pink Flamingos," things about Divine, like more so than I'd seen, like the concentrated amount about Divine, which is wonderful. I mean, obviously, I'm a big Divine fan. It seems like I don't see a lot of mention of Polyester, though. I'm gonna call everyone on that. It seems people go Pink Flamingos, Female Trouble, Hairspray are the ones that get mentioned a lot. I don't hear a lot about Polyester, which was kind of a big hit, as well as no Multiple Maniacs in there either. So I was like, I don't know. I kind of like, you should. Multiple Maniacs is like way bigger deal than it was when I was a kid. You couldn't do that. No, Matt Baum, I think, really started. I did notice the Lindsay Ellis thing kind of had a similar thumbnail that Matt Baum does, but maybe I don't know. It seems very similar to me, but I don't know. That might not have been her intention. I will say, one other thing I was thinking about with the Divine thing, and since people bring up Ursula, the Ursula thing definitely because of the Lindsay Ellis video. I have always thought, and since the 90s, I thought they should have gotten Divine to be the voice of Ursula. I like the voice of Ursula naturally. I actually don't have any, I'm not like, oh, that role is awful without Divine. I think the role is great, actually, but I think she does a great performance and all her choices are wonderful. However, I think Divine would have been amazing. Like a Baltimore drag queen plays a sea witch. Come on, what's more perfect than that? I've also thought Divine should. I've been saying this since the '90s, the Divine Ursula thing. I think my parents were like, "No, stop talking about this. It's not going to happen." Also, Divine's dead. And the Married with Children episode she couldn't be in. I would have liked that. I would have liked Hairspray, both the Broadway show and the movie. Also, Serial Mom. Like, I like Kathleen Turner in that, but Divine would have destroyed that movie. It would, in fact, that's one of the regrets. I think if Divine was in Serial Mom, that would have been an amazing film. I don't know if he would have kept doing, like, I don't know. I kind of like Cecily. I don't know who the voice of Ursula is, actually, but off the top of my head, I'm sure Ryan Walterson's going to correct us all. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see people talk about John Waters and stuff like that. I think I'll probably do a throwback video to Pink Flamingos this week, because I was like, man, it is interesting. I guess I should like kind of pump up that that stuff, because I've done all of them, but it's interesting seeing people do it. I think the Matt Baum thing was the most interesting, because he really gets into the film side. If you don't, you should follow him. He does a lot of great stuff on like gay culture and stuff, but his John Waters video was really good. I do think there's more to get into, but it's like an obsession of mine, so of course I think someone should make multiple videos, because I made a lot of them myself, so, and obsessed over to the 90s and all that stuff. I agree with Gary on that, at least. Sorry, Gary, I feel like this is silly. All right, let's actually get into the show. I'm totally off on what the flow. When did we start? We started at, we did start late. This is like my latest start ever. All right. So, oh yeah, tomorrow's Father's Day, or in an hour it's Father's Day. It's my day, I guess. All right. So this and everything I do is supported either by you. Okay. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fan. Okay. This and everything I do is supported by viewers like you, either through super chats during the show, or take a swig of Red Bull right here, or through my Patreon, which is linked in the description down below. The Patreon has all sorts of cool stuff like postcards, Skype calls, more power in the movie review vote, the commentary series, which one of those went up this week, where I'm doing commentaries on Knock Force cartoons and older, on my oldest YouTube videos and short films and stuff. So all sorts of stuff like that. And I've done all the Cleus the fetuses that need commentary, and you can have access to my every episode of my public access show, movie stuff. So all sorts of cool things like that in through the Patreon, as well as it's a great way to support the show, help me be able to get new equipment like this computer I was able to get through everyone's contributions and everything like that. If you are financially able to do so, of course, and I thank you very much for doing that. And if you can't, just liking this video or subscribing. I'm trying to do a lot of like instant premieres and stuff like that. I actually might be uploading things off on on different times for the movie crap shorts, maybe like during the day. Actually, I think I might do that on Monday and Wednesday, but we'll see. So you should have notifications on so you don't miss anything, as well as I do instant premieres and stuff like that. So there's cool stuff to do if you have those notifications on. There's an actual reason to, and liking this video helps people see it and all that stuff. But if you're just watching it and you just enjoy watching movie crap and everything like that, thank you very much for doing so. Any support or just watching and things like that is very appreciated. Or tell your friends, that's cool too. And we have a super chat from Zane Power. Says, why is there no Kids Day, only Mother's and Father's Day? Every day is Kids Day. Every day is Kids Day. Anyway, cheers to you, Zane Powers. All right. What was I going to say? Okay. And if you enjoy the chat here, and the community that's on my comments and everything like that, you should join the Discord, where there's all sorts of stuff. Like, you can ask me questions, you can give suggestions on the channel of things I should review, which I do actually listen to. Actually, I like suggestions. You can interact with the fan community through the general thing where I actually post like what my segments are. I actually ask like, hey, what do you want me to cover during the show? All sorts of cool stuff like that. They have movie nights on Fridays. They watch Titan AE, I believe. Titan AE. All sorts of wonderful things on there. And Zane Powers and Austin run a really good Discord server. So join that if you are on Discord and you would like to. Or if you just want a cool community to hang out with. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Gary. I liked it, but I'll get into more of that later. All right, so let's actually. So I'm assuming because it's Juneteenth and the summer, really because it's the summer in Brooklyn. I don't think Juneteenth has anything to do with. I don't know why they're shooting fireworks. It could be their friend Steve's birthday. I have no clue. But it's the summer in Brooklyn, so fireworks are going to be going off. All right. So the first thing. And the most important news, biggest story of the week almost, I would say, is DC said that an episode of, it did have a Power Man 5 song, sorry. DC said, apparently to the writers of the Harley Quinn cartoon show, which is on HBO Max, which I'm starting to go through season 2, it's really great, that in a scene that they were going to have Batman go down on... they were going to have Batman go down on Catwoman, that they would not let them do that, and they had to cut that scene because Batman is toys for children and things like that, which was their justification. I guess I don't really... Sure. That was their reasoning behind Batman, because kids buy toys and kids can't know guys would go down on girls or something. I really don't understand the thing of it, and this sort of blew up. Before you get at that, Zane Powers says Titan A or Atlantis the Lost Empire. I think Atlantis the Lost Empire is the better movie, but I think more about Titan A. But cheers to you, Zane Powers. Thank you for the super chat. So the thing about this is supposed to be in season 3 of Harley Quinn, and I immediately was thinking today, I was like, season 3 isn't out yet. But whenever season 3 comes out, we're all going to be like, so which episode is the one where it was going to be like Batman goes down on Catwoman? And it was funny, coincidentally, the episode I watched of season 2 was the first one with Catwoman, which was, I was like, oh wow, of all the ones. It was like literally just the next one I had to watch. I didn't even, anyway. And then Zack Snyder posted the picture of Batman going down on Catwoman and said canon, and then I saw someone post like, have you had this, how long have you had this on your phone? And then he blocked them, which was extra hilarious. I don't get why people get so weird about that. There was a Sopranos plot line about it, and I remember like people like genuinely talking about it, like, oh, it's like kind of controversial for guys to go down on ladies. That's not controversial. That should be, I know we always talk about normalizing stuff, and I sort of like, I don't know, like, and I'm all for most of the things people want to normalize. I don't know all the things, but this would be a thing that like it should be normalized. That's something. As long as like the person wants you to do that, then you should, and you feel comfortable doing that. Both parties, you should do that. That's like not cool to not do that, or like refuse in a way. I just don't get why that's such a big fucking deal to people. It's just like, you know, you should, it's kind of being selfish, or you're just like refusing out of like, you know, and you're not going to get better if you never do it. Anyway, sorry, this is like, but I think it's just such a weird thing. It's also like, and I saw Comic Drake's thing on it today, where it's just like, I don't, wow, those fireworks are throwing me off. Let's do the super chat. Nattenbox64, I thought the whole thing was just funny. I agree with you, Nattenbox64. Cheers to you. When I watched Comic Drake's thing on it, which was a great video, he's almost always great. Well, I take that back. He is always great. I like Comic Drake. Friends with Izzy, and I met him once. So that's, but no, he's Izzy's friend, but we met independent. Anyway, that's doesn't matter. But he was bringing up that like the show they're complaining about is a show that is not for kids. I mean, this isn't like, if it was a show for kids, I would say, well, I don't think oral sex should be in a show for little kids. But like, in general, like, doesn't really matter who whose thing is going in whose mouth or whatever. But like Harley Quinn's like an R-rated like explicit show. Like it's very violent. Like I don't think kids should be watching that anyway. So the whole consumer toys thing makes like no sense, and I think it would have been cool. Like I think the problem, I mean, the thing is, I saw some publicists bring this up, and I actually think it's actually a good point, that they're like, what the fuck is going on at DC right now? And why? Because this was the thing that came out in Hollywood Reporter. This isn't like comic book new, whatever, comic book research, comic book, whatever, who cares? Like whatever weird ass site. This was like a trade, meaning that those reporters definitely went to DC and told them like, hey, you know, is this true? And they were probably like, oh yeah, we wouldn't let Batman go down on Catwoman. And then it came out. Like, you'd be surprised like how often these weird ass things that you're like, no one in their right mind would let that out. And then you read the behind the scenes and you're like, yeah, I mean, we asked them and they kind of like, yeah, no, we want that out. Like that Liam Neeson thing where he said he was like hunting like a black guy or something. Apparently I read a thing from the reporter and they were like, yeah, I kept saying like, are you sure you want to say this on the record? And he like insisted, and you're like, why would you, like, what? Like the reporter was even like, look, I don't want it. Like, what are you doing? It's like kind of like one of those things, like there's so many times where like someone just says something stupid and they're like, no, I want this fucking in. And it happens. It happens a lot actually, so it's not that surprising. But a lot of people, I saw reporters on Twitter and on podcasts and stuff talking about like, how did this get out to being such a, like, it should never have gotten out. Basically, they should have NDA'd the fuck it, which is surprising, and people are questioning DC. And I thought DC was cooler than that, because I do think the Harley Quinn show shows a more willingness to DC, but it's also like, I don't think heroes do that. Heroes do that as long as, you know, their ladies are. I also want to point out, like, if everyone's comfortable with it and stuff like that. But the Killing Joke thing is also interesting because they let Batman like have sex with Batgirl, which that was super fucking weird. That whole thing with Killing Joke is a weird situation. I don't get like why people like that comic, because I remember when I actually read it, because I'd heard about it for so long. Even the comic, I was like, this is creepy. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of great Batman stories, and I think people like obsess over certain ones. I noticed the Long Halloween's having that because of the new movie. To me, it's like, just like, I don't know. People have weird things about Batman. It's just like, but that Killing Joke thing, I think they did it because Mark Hamill really wanted to do that one, and they're like, well, he's really big right now, so they did it. But it's just like that added on thing, and it was just so creepy. Like, why? Yeah, they're so weird about Batman's sexuality. Like, what is going on with that? Like, I don't understand. Can you just be Batman? And like, to me, that's like totally I don't know. They made this into such a thing, and I think like, I like Philip DeFranco's thing. Like, if Batman doesn't do that, why does he have handles on his helmet? which, you know, that was pretty good. I just think Batman, you know what? I think most of the modern Batmans would, if I was going to go Christian Bale, yes. You know what? Yeah, Christian Bale, Affleck, Keaton, definitely. Yeah, I think all the actors would go down on people. Wait, Kevin Conroy is gay? Is that true? I didn't know that. Is that true? I didn't know Kevin Conroy was gay. Oh, okay. Because I would say Kevin Conroy definitely does, but I mean, Kevin Conroy is amazing. Alan Moore 100% hates it. I don't even know what that's about, and it's true. All right, let's move on. But actually, I read Robin does get down. One of the writers of Nightwing recently says he does, like, so many things about like heroes going down on women. It's like, this was like everyone competing on who can go down on women the most and stuff. It's not a lot of ladies in this conversation, I will say. I did notice that, despite this being about, I don't know, whatever. Yes. Oh, Ryan Walterson confirmed it. Confirmed source Ryan Walterson confirmed Kevin Conroy is gay. Didn't know that. Just found that out. That's interesting. This was a good segment. I'm glad everyone thinks so. All right. This is so in two kind of cool Adult Swim news, and I forget if I talked about one of these last week or not. The Rick and Morty took over a Wendy's. Now it's called Morty's in LA. It's like, it looked really cool, like a good big advertising push for Rick and Morty, which new season comes up, I believe, tomorrow. And then also Tuca and Birdie, they had cool inflatable things that like were on a boat, and apparently it was around New York, but I couldn't have gone to it at the time. I heard about the David Cochran thing. I wish I'd seen the Tuca and Birdie thing. I would have filmed it if it was like, oh, I could have done it. I would have, but I couldn't. I think these kind of things are cool, and it's something Adult Swim. The shame of the Moonanites thing is they were actually doing events in cities, and this is true, by the way. They were doing events in like billboards and stuff in cities that weren't just New York, LA. And I think the problem with the Moonanites thing is I noticed after that they kind of pulled back because they had like built weird billboards in Baltimore, I remember, and that was really cool actually. And that's the one thing I saw people complain, like, why are they always so New York, LA centric? And I think that's actually one of the things about that we don't talk about that. So, Jesus, what is going on out there tonight? All right, it's Nero's Run. I like how Nero's Q. How long ago was that? Does anyone know what date that podcast was? Because that was like so long ago. I was wondering what happened to him. I feel like one day I'm gonna be like at my job or something, and someone's gonna be in an interview, and I'll be talking to them, and they'll be like, "So I don't want to bring this up, but I was Nero's Q," and I'd be like, "You motherfucker, get the fuck out." Did I say the wrong one? Yeah, it was anyway. Boston shooting off the fireworks. This is less confirmable, but it's been talked about a lot. I think I talked about before, I heard some rumors that The Matrix 4 would be really meta. I have heard specific plot pointy things, but I don't want to. That was 5 years ago. Wow. I don't want to spoil that because I feel like we're too early in the stream to like just be throwing spoilers out. But I will say this is less spoil-ish, that they mention the movie The Matrix in The Matrix 4 apparently. And the Warner Brothers is mentioned, and one rumor that has come out of this, my cats like don't mind. I think it's more just hope Sophie stays asleep. The one thing that came out of this is apparently there's something to do, and again, I haven't seen it, and I'm like almost paraphrasing something, right? It's just like super weird. But that there was something that came out of this that Warner Brothers basically, like, someone says a line, again, don't know, June 7th. Wow, that long ago. Someone says a line about how we'll do this with you or without you, insinuating Warner Brothers, and a lot of people have guessed that Warner Brothers basically came to the Wachowskis and were like, look, we could either make a Matrix movie with you or without you, but something's happening with this IP. We can't just let this lie here. And I'm wondering, like, what the meta situation of this whole thing is. It sounds like actually really interesting. I'm like way more excited because to me it's like, look, the whole idea of everyone's perfect Matrix 2 is like, we need to, like, come on, give that up. I'd much rather want to watch whatever the Wachowskis decide to do with their weird ideas and things. I'd rather let them go off than get your typical, like, bang bang shooty shoot Matrix movie or whatever the fuck. It's just, I think this sounds amazing. It sounds like the Matrix 4 Gremlins 2 or whatever. Apparently it will be called Matrix Resurrection, or they saw, like, people at the test screening say they saw a title card, like a finished or finished looking title card. So it's probably going to be called Matrix Resurrections, but it sounds really cool. It really does sound cool. Everything I'm hearing about the Matrix 4, I'm excited about, and I'm not someone who is as excited of just a typical Matrix 4. I don't like the sequels. watch the Cleus the Fetus Matrix thing where I wrote a rant from Ian, which I think he improv off of. You really want to go back on that one. But it'll yeah, I don't like the sequels, and I didn't really see 3, and I think when the new one comes out, I'm gonna revisit them, and maybe I can do reviews. But that's very interesting. I gotta say, I think that's actually very interesting. So, the Lego movie, okay, the Lego Batman 2 that didn't happen because Lego sold the brand basically to, sorry, just checking that everything works. Hopefully. Are you guys still there, chat? No, I'm joking. So Lego Batman 2 didn't happen because Lego took the brand from Warner's and went to Universal after the failure of Lego Movie 2. So I think Billion Brick Race is over, right? Live from Jim's room in New York. It's movie crap. I mean, my living room, but yeah. Yeah, so all those projects basically died. And we didn't really know what was happening with Lego Batman 2, but we have learned that apparently Dan Harmon and Michael Waldron, I believe, actually had done a first draft of the script. That was this is the quote from Chris McKay, who was the director of the first Lego Batman, and now I guess only Lego Batman. That he said Dan Harmon and Michael Waldron had done a first draft of the script that was really great. It was truly epic, both from an action standpoint and from a story standpoint. The structure was a Godfather Part 2, a story about a Batman's relationship to the Justice League and Superman, now as well as the formative moments of the Justice League and Batman's relationship with Superman then. And then they also, another quote was, it's about friendship and change. It was about how hard it is to change, to commit to change, to stay on the new road you carve for yourself, especially when maybe you aren't such a good guy to your friends. Your old friends might not be able to see the new you. They might still live in the past, but as the movie and Robin finds out, the past might be more complicated than it seems. This sounds interesting because first off, I know the first Lego, the Lego and Fuller and Chris Miller were interested in like Dan Harmon and like Rob Schraub was supposed to be doing Lego Movie 2. They didn't do that. I don't really like Lego Movie 2. I know a lot of people really do. I probably need to rewatch it. I know Sophie liked the first Lego movie, but it wasn't like a hit like Hotel Transylvania's or the other movies like that. But I wouldn't mind watching Lego Batman with her, which is funny because that came out like I think a month or less than a month before she was born. But I do think Lego Batman was maybe my favorite of the spin-off sequels or whatever. I think it was the first one, and then they really overplayed their hand. I think that's kind of the thing, is like the problem with those things. Well, first off, Ninjago was a mess because they should have just had it be the people from the show and not have celebrity cast, and it shouldn't have trying to make the Lego movie again and again and again. I think is an idiotic idea because it's just like the reason a brand, like everyone says Marvel samey, but like look at the 3 shows we've had. Like Loki is drastically different from WandaVision. Falcon Winter Soldier is different. They're each different, distinct things. They may be shot the same way, but they're different kind of stories. And if you literally just make the same kind of comedy over and over again, like the audience is going to get bored and sick of your brand. Like, and I think Lego Batman kind of got away from it, but anyway, I think it's unfortunate. Having a Dan Harmon Lego script sounds amazing. It sounds like it could have been cool, and going into like more like it sounds like it would have been a better Batman v Superman than the actual Batman v Superman. And wouldn't it be Channing Tatum voices versus Will Arnett then? Like that would have been so much fun. That sucks. Like fucking Warner Brothers, they can't do nothing right. They can't. And Billy D. Williams is Two-Face. Thank you, Austin. That's true. Nuttenbox64 says at least Zoe Kravitz still gets to be Catwoman again and Matt Reeves the Batman. That's true. That's true. You're right. Cheers to you, Nuttenbox64. But yeah, that That I don't know. That kind of bums me out. They kind of don't tell you enough. But I'm like, man, really thinking about it, that could have been cool. So Inside Job is the new show that I wanna have a bunch of corrections on how this is being reported, because I understand clickbait, but there's a difference between clickbait and like actually telling your story accurately. So this is a show, Inside Job, that is created, and the showrunner is Shinan Chish. Okay, I'm not gonna get this right. I know it. So this is a showrunner by Shion space Takeuchi, and she created the show, and it is executive produced and sort of helped out from Alex Hirsch. It does feel very Gravity Falls ish. She, the creator of this show, worked on Gravity Falls and has done other things, but it is not an Alex Hirsch show. Does it feel like an Alex Hirsch show? Sure. Have I seen anything from it? Not at all. Nobody has. But it is not a show that he created. I just want to specify that because it seems like nobody's saying it correctly. But it looks really cool. Like basically, like all these people who are behind, like the world and all this stuff. It feels like that's a new thing that's happening between that and the Mike Myers thing I talked about last week. But it seems, yeah, it looks cool. You saw everyone's eyes kind of crossed out and everything like that. It looks like a good thing for Netflix, because that feels like a show like people would enjoy to watch. Because I think, like, when you think of the Netflix algorithm, how many times are there weird conspiracy documentaries, and this show could like play in with that, and I think that could actually be really cool. And Alex Hirsch, apparently he has I guess teased or whatever, hinted that we'll hear about the show he had created soon. But it sounds like he's overseeing other shows, doing a lot with Netflix. So I'm curious to see, like, when his stuff really gets going, I can see maybe Netflix is hiding something that is going to be pretty substantial. But I talked about Maya and the Three last week, I believe. It looks really cool, Paige Howard. But thank you for bringing it up. I'm excited for that. Hey, Marley, how's it going? Thank you very much, sir. Okay, but Inside Job looks really cool. I'm excited for it. We don't know too much, but it seems like this thing between this and Mike Myers, which are both on Netflix, actually, the whole idea of people behind everything going on throughout the world, throughout every conspiracy and the moon landing and all that stuff, is going to be a thing we're going to see a bunch of things about. But this one looks like it's more coming out sooner than the Mike Myers thing, but it looks like a thing we're going to be hearing a lot about. So in the reboot, I did not expect, but is a reboot that is happening, Perfect Strangers, or as many people know it, the prequel to Family Matters, or as many people know it, the prequel to Family Matters. Look it up. No joke. Perfect Strangers is getting a reboot. I used to watch Perfect Strangers as a kid because I would watch basically anything on TV that I was allowed to watch. And Perfect Strangers was one of them, and Bulky, and... What? Oh, okay. I don't understand. So it's not... It sounds like it's basically like two other people who unexpectedly discover they're half-sisters and inherit a one-bedroom apartment above a trap yoga studio in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Polar opposites, they must... But there's not really that many yoga studios. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. I mean, I've been to Fort Greene. There's like that one, but like that doesn't have an apartment over it. The believability of this is just out. I refuse to believe this. There is no... Are they talking about the one near the Barclays Center? Like that, and I think that close. So this doesn't even work for me. I reject this. The first Perfect Strangers was a perfect, reasonable show based in reality, and this just sounds like a farce of nonsense. Like, where is this yoga studio? What? I can't even figure out where that is. I've never even heard of that. This is ridiculous. I refuse to believe that's in Fort Greene. I'm sorry, that doesn't... Anyway, I used to live in Fort Greene, right next to a White Castle, and now it's an apartment building. In the King Ralph video, if you see me in front of the White Castle, that image, none of those buildings in that shot exist anymore. Which is Insane. All right. But yeah, there's no apartment over to, like, fuck that. That doesn't even do more research. I hate this. Anyway, I reject this. So, Scoob 2. We have been heard that Scoob 2 is actually being developed. We heard recently from the director of Scoob that he said, and this is, by the way, I think this quote is actually interesting. Everyone's like, oh, they're making Scoob, and Scoob is controversial, and all that stuff. But he said, and this is, I think, what's interesting. He said, actually, we are kicking the tires on a follow-up to Scoob. It hasn't been announced yet, but it's something we're all excited about. The whole creative team that made the first movie is still around. Is still around and back and working on something new. It was neat to create this Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, and it's exciting to return to it. He specifically brings up the Hanna-Barbera thing. In my mind, it sounds like they're going to do more stuff with that and not just do a Scoob thing, which I think we're going to see more of this Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe. Sounds like we are not done with that. That is going to continue. We're going to keep hearing about it. Ryan Welch said, to quote Balky, don't be ridiculous. He's like, don't be, I don't even remember. God, I have not watched that since like the 90s. I'm not even going to joke. Like, I was wanting to talk about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't remember it at all. But I do remember that. He said, don't be ridiculous. Doesn't he do it that way? I don't want to, I shouldn't do accents. All right. Cheers to you, Ryan Walterson. I think Sophie would be excited for Scoob too. She liked Scoob a lot. I wasn't personally the biggest fan of Scoob. It's like a fun little kids movie, but I think honestly, like if I was honestly going to have a Scoob 2, I would want a Scoob, you know, like just a good mystery. And to me, it's like having all the characters they have in like Blue Falcon's such a weird, I don't know. They need to like figure that out and just worry about like just make a good Scooby-Doo animated movie. I feel like we deserve a good Scooby-Doo animated movie in theaters. That would have been nice, but anyway. So a bunch of things that are small, but I wanted to talk about them. We're getting a Bernie Mac. We're getting a Bernie Mac biopic from produced by John Legend per his production company. That could be cool. It depends on who I don't know. See, that's like Bernie Mac had such a specific voice and physicality and stuff. Like I can't think of who you would get to play him. That would be the hardest part about that, because I used to really love his stand-up, and he could really destroy a room. And like the fact that like that's all, there's a reason Richard Pryor biopic has never really happened. Although I think who is it? The other guy who's in the Friday sequels, I always forget his name. Is it Mike Epps? Maybe, I forget. The problem also with that is I might be right about who's cast in the Richard Pryor thing, but they've actually made so many. They've cast so many people in a Richard Pryor thing. I might actually name the right person who was. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But Bernie Mac that's in early development. However, a Marvin Gaye biopic has a director, Alan Hughes, and is being executive produced or semi-produced by Dr. Dre. And that I'm interested in that. I think if you had something, Marvin Gaye is somebody who obviously between his divorce and his divorce albums, how he was killed, all the great music, a Marvin Gaye biopic I think would be really great. So Nattenbach64 said, since Scoob has an AT&T jingle, I'm expecting to see a Discovery Channel reference for the sequel. Oh my God, they should do that. Do that like a mystery at the Discovery Channel. That would be amazing. Cheers to you, Nattenbach64. That's a good point. I like someone gets killed at Guy Fieri's filming diners, drive-ins, and dives. That's an amazing movie. Warner's, call me. Austin, I was waiting for too many times. Now I don't have any King Ralphs. Jim Gisriel. Thank you for reminding me of that chart. That's a good chart. I like that. Cheers to you. Okay, so this sounds amazing, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. Because I saw that Jack Black and Ice Cube are in a comedy. It was called Oh Hell No. And I was like, that sounds, Jack Black and they're funny. And then I found out the premise. And oh boy, this is great. So Jack Black is dating Ice Cube's mom, who's 70 years old. And they have like this great relationship. They're like very much in love. And Ice Cube finds out about it. And people are like, the end of the trailer is just Ice Cube going, oh, hell no. And that's like, I was like, I'm sort of into this. I think that sounds amazing. Ice Cube and Jack Black, like that's the comedy we need. Society needs a comedy like that. I just think society needs that, really. If we're being real, right? I think society needs Jack Black. Yes, that is the real. I see the chat. People are like, "What?" Yeah. I just was like, I gotta tell somebody about it. It just sounds like ridiculous. I don't know if that could hold up like past a watch, but like, you've at least got me a little interested. I think that sounds like a funny thing. Let's do funny things first. Sorry, there's the Johnny Test trailer. I'm going to be honest, I barely watched Johnny Test other than when Saber made me when we were working on some video. I forget now. And then was it like a gender swap one? I think. And the times I like watched ends of it to watch other shows. I saw the Pan Pizza clip that Ryan Welchson posted on Facebook about how like regular show and Adventure Time will be over and Johnny Test will just keep going because how crappy it is. I agree with that. I know it's Nick Tendo's favorite cartoon, and definitely tell him that in the YouTube comments that Jim Gisriel said that it's Nick Tendo's favorite show is Johnny Test. It totally is. And all the whip thing, I just was like, it looks like Johnny Test. I don't get this show. Do people really like it? Like, is it just for the ironies? I don't get it. And then the Tom and Jerry New York trailer looks, and I heard there's a lot of talk of the 2014 Tom and Jerry thing. It does look very much like the movie. It doesn't look as good as the shorts that we got, the special shorts or whatever before the movie came out. Those are really great. It didn't really entice me. My problem with most Tom and Jerry things is like, there is like one reason I watch Tom and Jerry, and it's to see them like beat the shit out of each other and like throw things and like do silent film comedy and stuff. And when they like don't do that, I'm kind of like, I don't really get like what they think I will watch Tom and Jerry for. Like I don't really get like just like do like, it's physical comedy. That's all it is. Like how do you, like, you could not have a plot and I would love it if you did that. And they always like think of it in stupid ways. If your take on Tom and Jerry doesn't involve them running around and smashing each other with stuff, your take is dumb. Like you're not smart. You didn't come up with a better thing. It is literally like, the reason the special shorts were great is they got what those characters are. Those characters are not that complex, and yet people seem to just, it's like a very simple thing and people seem to ruin it all the time. But whatever, it does look like maybe it'll be better. It looks like the movie, but like the girl's not involved a little. I don't get it. I think I might watch it, but I'm like, the trailer didn't entice me too much. Dattenbox 64 says season 1 is fine, but the rest of Johnny Test sucked. I guess that's true. Cheers to you, Dattenbox 64. And then we got a trailer for the Aardman Christmas special, Robin, which looks great. Looks wonderful. I'm excited for that. It's sort of the animation actually reminding me more of Stickman, if you've ever seen Stickman. The short of that, which is not Aardman, I know, but it kind of reminded me of that actually. In the Heights. Man, In the Heights is like a really controversial movie. Its box office isn't doing well, and that's I'll talk about that first, I guess. I think a lot of that is, for a musical to do well in the summer, you kind of need a name. Summers are all about franchises, and it's got nothing to do. I know, but it's very similar to the movie, Ryan. Anyway, but I think for a musical to do well in the summer, and especially this summer when people are like, oh, what's the first movie you're going to see? oh, this musical, I don't know what it is, and it's 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's just like, to me, like, if you really think about it, it wasn't a really good time for it. I don't think it was a bad movie. I know I didn't give it a great, oh, hey, John Barton, a great review, but I don't think it's a bad movie. And I think like most people are waiting for like their big return to theaters movie, and it's not like this musical that most people sort of haven't heard of. I know if something's big on Broadway, I think people who like Broadway need to understand that that doesn't mean it's mainstream. Like I don't go around and like complain that like people don't know what 12-ounce mouse is and stuff. I like get that people don't like that. Like it's sort of a niche thing. So like just like because Broadway is exactly like 12-ounce mouse. This is a terrible comparison, but but I think the box office thing is a little weird, but because it's like it shouldn't have put it out then. The colorism controversy, I think, has become a bigger thing because a lot of the people in Washington Heights are more Afro-Latina than they didn't, because there is various racism within the Latino community, and they didn't have basically anyone who is Afro-Latino in the movie. I do not know enough about the musical to comment on if it was in the musical on Broadway, which I'm wondering. I semi-wondered that because no one seemed to say, like, well, it was in the musical, but it wasn't in the movie, or they saying it should have been in the movie because this is where it is now. But I also wonder, because the movie looked like it took place in 2002, was that the makeup? Not to like excuse it, I think they should have done that, but I am saying if they're trying to make the makeup, because they have the blackout in the movie, no spoilers there. So I was wondering like things like that about. There's a lot I don't fully know about the musical. I do think it should have been a little more diverse. I do think like New York is a very diverse area, and it just did specifically show these certain people. Other than I think his name's Corey Hawkins who's in it, they don't have very many people. Uh, I guess African Americans in the film at all. So I don't know. It kind of became a bigger thing, but I would say that I was surprised how this became, because I know Lin-Manuel Miranda responding. He goes, I heard you and I'm listening. Basically, like, he handled it well. It seemed like John M. Chu handled it well. Rita Moreno commented and did not handle it well and then apologized. It's become like this whole thing, basically. I did think it was a little, I don't know. I think that movie isn't as a runaway hit for everyone that thought it was. And I also think the whole ideas of those kind of things are sort of Obama era, and we're kind of past that. But I do think like when you're doing these things and showing New York and trying to reflect a certain kind of community, it's usually far more diverse, and maybe they should have thought about it a little bit more. As much as it felt like it captured the vibe of New York, they really need to I think understand more of that area. And it almost did feel like they were trying to capture maybe an area that's not there anymore, but then they did I don't know, there's so many questions I have on this, and I feel like maybe a lot of the articles I noticed were not getting into like, well, was the show like this? I mean, are they trying to like what? Just like I am a little confused on the full aspect of it, but in general, I do think it should have been more diverse. And I think it should have shown Afro Latinos, and I thought that was kind of sucked that it's like, you know, that's already a controversy we're having. Don't worry, John Barton, I'll get to you. With the Spielberg West Side Story, which is coming out this year, that they like lightened up people, like color corrected people. That was already a controversy in that, and that they're not really showing the true Hispanic, Latino backgrounds in those communities. And this is just going to be a continued thing, because they need to actually show the actual makeup of these communities, not just like ignore it to what they do, you know, what will sell or something like that, which it doesn't. Like, nobody, like, I don't understand why they didn't do that. Basically, they should have done it. They should have done a better job. That's the end of it. I don't have anything more to say than like, if they have some like, oh, we were in this time, there were more, something like that. If they have an actual answer like that, but they already updated it to have iPhones for God knows why. And so, like, to me, just like, if that is the case, you should do it accurately. And also, like, these kind of communities don't get that spotlight. So if they're not getting the spotlight, why don't you do it fucking right? If you're going to, actually show certain communities. Don't fuck it up. Like, we're in the 2020s. Everyone's talking about representation. Do representation properly. And like, why are we fucking this up at this point? Like, to me, it's like, that's the problem. Like, these are big calling cards to communities, and you mess it up. Like, Embla T, that was amazing. The musical was like gentrified by the vampires at Vampires vs. the Bronx. I love that. I love vampires. Thank you, Embla T. All right. Let's move on. Sorry, I feel like I stumbled that. Sorry. John Barton says, late for Batman, but if anyone hasn't yet read the article, everyone is beautiful and no one is horny yet relevant. Trust me, you won't regret it. Okay, thank you, John Barton. Cheers to you. Thank you very much. So in news of, we've almost killed a Red Bull. So is this movie good? It's the thing. It is all right, I guess. So there's going to be a Beauty and the Beast prequel, and it's been with Gaston and Josh Gad, and what is this? I think I really started a 12-ounce mouse is better than Broadway thing, which I don't really realize. Broadway, much like 12-ounce mouse, is high art and only enjoyed by the rich elite. 12-ounce mouse for Broadway. Fight me, chat. I love this. Rich elites enjoy 12-ounce mouse is in vogue these days. Trust me, nobody rich likes 12-ounce mouse. I'm gonna be very honest with you. I don't think. Look, have I watched more 12-ounce mouse than been to Broadway shows? Yeah, definitely. That is definitely the case. We should just compare like 12-ounce mouses up here. Everything else that's been created ever is like below it. All right, Nattenbox64 says they unrealistically expected In the Heights to be a runaway smash just from a Deadline article about a small Fandango poll that targeted certain users. Oh, I didn't realize that. Cheers to you, Nattenbox64. I mean, I will say I think they kind of thought, and I don't think this is actually unrealistic, is Hamilton was so big last summer, and I think they thought because Lin-Manuel has become such a huge star that him making a musical would have kind of helped that, and that this was like his other musical, which has toured a lot. Like, it's not, but I think Ted Turner's rich, so maybe. Oh my god. All right. But yeah, they made a prequel with Gaston and Josh Gad. It's going to be a prequel series. I'll never watch it. Good for them, but they're trying to spin off their crappy live action movies. Good for you guys, I guess. So I'm definitely going to mess this up, but Slyvan Chomet, or the director of Triplets of Belleville, as well as The Illusionist, which I think is definitely one of the best animated films of the 2000s, is going to helm a film called The Magnificent Life of Marcel Pagnol, which is his first film, I believe, since The Illusionist, unless I'm forgetting something. I'm really excited for that. He's a great director. I think both those films are definitely in animation classics. Hello, Nina Garcia. I think this is probably one of the greatest announcements that he's working on something. I think that's going to be amazing. I'm very excited for that. It's you might have to watch it. I don't have to watch it. I hope I don't watch it. But yeah, the Sylvie Shama. I think that's amazing news. I'm very excited. The Illusionist, I actually had to see it on its release on Christmas, and that film, I just think that's a really beautiful film. I think that's like one of that might be that's a really great movie. I really love that film. I've seen it a bunch of times. I used to have to project it and stuff, but the idea of like having a skill and stuff through his magic and it's just like so much beauty through that film, and oh, wonderful. Anyway, Tyrese Gibson said things and people are all like, wow, we should trust him. You should never, don't listen to him. So here's the thing with Tyrese. Jesus, this 12-ounce mouse thing has gotten way out of hand. The Tyrese Gibson basically made said a lot of things. Here's the thing with Tyrese. Don't most movie press people. There's a reason this didn't get as far because Tyrese is a little bit of a loudmouth. He says things he probably shouldn't. He makes connections sometimes. Look, I like Tyrese in the movies, the Fast and Furious movies. I liked him. Didn't he do MTV Jams or something? I don't know. But yeah, so Tyrese first said that, what's it? The, sorry. That Jared Leto vampire movie connects to the MCU. Good for you, Tyrese. And then he says that Fast 10 and Fast 11 are going to be shooting back to back. I don't think... See, the thing is like shooting these big blockbusters back to back, I don't think works as well as like doing a Lord of the Rings, because like that's all part of one... To me, it's like, we'll see, because even Mission Impossible couldn't do that because of COVID and there's scheduling conflicts and stuff. I think it's just an idea they had. But yeah, so though, I don't know. He basically, Tyrese says stuff that, who knows if they're true. Apparently the Wesley Snipes John Wick thing didn't work out, unfortunately. So we did learn in sort of, this is a chunk of Disney kind of stuff, is Disney Plus is thinking of moving premiere or shifting original premieres instead of Fridays on Wednesdays because the first Loki broke all these records and stuff. The episode of Loki, I do think like they probably want Wednesdays because I do know there was some specificity behind like wanting recaps and having people read them and giving them enough time to catch up with them. And on Friday, you can get lost in the weekend shuffle and stuff like that, and people can like just forget to watch your thing. And I think it does kind of help you out a little bit, because if it's on Friday, I will say from people I work with, I know people watched it before they went to work on Wednesday, or at least knew to watch before Thursday. So there's sort of like a water cooler, more immediacy to it. Whereas I think if you're on Friday, you can like, I'll just ignore my coworkers, and then, you know, it's Monday and I forgot and everyone's not talking about it anymore. So I think it actually, I really do think there is a thing to it. I think like maybe Bad Batch, it works a little better for it because I don't see that becoming an office water cooler thing. So I think it like sort of depends on the show, but apparently they're going to be shifting more things to that. Zane Power says, if Avatar could do it, anyone can. Never doubt Navi. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. We killed a Red Bull. All right. So the Beatles documentary Get Back, which Peter Jackson has been working on, apparently he's restored so much footage, he is actually going to release three episodes basically. Is now a 6-hour TV series, and is going to premiere, I believe, on November 25th to 27th. Is a 3-part series, each 2 hours. I think this is great because I think the Beatles anthology came out around Thanksgiving, around that time, that's a great I actually don't know, is that still as good as we all thought it would? Yeah, that's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to watch it. I'm excited to watch Let It Be again, actually, because other than the end sequence, I never liked that movie very much. I thought it was kind of bad. We'll see. Is that a cat? I hope it's a cat. We'll see what happens there, but I think could be interesting. I like Peter Jackson just being like, I'm just going to make documentaries and stuff, and it's to be chill. But I think that'll be fun for families because the Beatles are such a universal thing. I think that is a lot for a Beatles documentary. I'm curious how it's going to play. But, Peter Jackson, yeah. I'm excited for it. I don't know if, like, the whole family will watch it, but maybe if they're just playing music and stuff, it'll be good, like, background stuff on Thanksgiving weekend, which could be cool either way. So, I think that sounds exciting. Austin says Mouse Fitzgerald should be in Knives Out too. You know what? I bet you Ryan Johnson, there's a chance he's seen Knives Out. Between him and Abrams, I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Ryan Johnson has seen 12 Ounce Mouse and J.J. Abrams hasn't. Or Ryan Johnson would watch 12 Ounce Mouse and J.J. Abrams doesn't know what Adult Swim is. I'm going to go out on that limb. I'm going to say that. I don't think J.J. Abrams knows what Adult Swim is. Prove me wrong. Has he ever said Adult Swim? But you can see Ryan Johnson watching Adult Swim. Like J.J. Abrams watched Rick and Morty, but like he probably like only watches it like on demand or something. Like he doesn't, you know what I mean? Anyway, here's to you, Austin. Okay, so Pixar is going back to theatrical for Turning Red, which will get a theatrical release in 2022. The thing with this is I'm not like I like animation. Let me just say this, but I think oftentimes people in the animation community don't really understand that there was a pandemic, and it's not about like disrespecting animation necessarily. I think it is about it's March 11th, 2022. I think it's more about like that these films primarily like kids want to see them, and kids can't get vaccinated if they're under 12. So I think that's sort of the real issue here. It's not about respecting or disrespecting animation. It's not causing more of an outbreak of a fucking pandemic. So maybe like let's like that's not what it's about. Like just like understand like they could either just like delay your movie forever or put it out. It's not about that. Just like calm the fuck down. And like the paywall thing, like come on, who cares? Just anyway. It just sort of bugs me, the whole thing. But Turning Red will be going theatrical. We'll see if Disney Plus starts doing the 45-day thing. I don't think they are, but we'll see. We also heard Bob's Burgers, which does not have a new release date for 2021. It sounds like they are going to have a release date soon. They said they did have to delay it because of COVID, but apparently that news is going to come out at some point soon. That broke right before the show. And Hotel Transylvania 4 has moved to October 1st from July 23rd. I'm assuming because they are hoping that there'll be some plan for vaccinations for kids by that point. I will also say, and also trying to take down Dune, although I don't think that changes much for Dune, but maybe it does. I will say Sophie saw the trailer for Hotel Transylvania 4 and she was really into it. So I think that's going to be, I'm excited. If she could go and if she can be vaccinated for that, I totally will take her. I think that'll be a lot of fun because she really likes those things. Like she was laughing. She was really into it. And I just said, well, it's probably going to be a while till you see. I didn't want to show the trailer because it's going to be a while. So anyway, I think that's a smart move. I think it's a little risky, but again, like if you see people, I didn't want to tweet it again, just because, but it is something like I do feel strongly about. Like I'm not saying they're disrespecting animation. It's just like these studios have to figure out a way to like, not cause another outbreak, especially among children. Like they have to make sure everyone's safe, and it's not really safe for kids to go to a theater right now. So anyway, Skinny Zach films. Hello, ever watch any straight to video DC films? I have seen. Well, first off, cheers to you. I would like to see more. I've seen The New Frontier, the Wonder Woman one, the first one. I didn't see the second one, which I think is actually really good. It's a good way to understand the more comics origin story, and they do a good job with like all the various plot lines, which is actually really hard. I think commendable. I've done, most of them I've had reviews of. Killing Joke, I saw it in theaters, but it is a straight to DVD thing. I would like to see more. I would like to see the Doomsday one. I would like to see didn't they do the one where he crashes in Russia? I would like to see more of them. I haven't seen enough. I know they're on HBO Max. I want to kind of go through them because they are actually really good. So thank you for that, Skinny Zach films. And cheers to you. Julia Butters, who, if you're wondering who she is, if you remember that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where DiCaprio's talking with a little girl and she like stole that scene. Well, she is cast as one of Spielberg's sisters in his autobiographical film, which that sounds good. If you remember when I told you the story of Spielberg's childhood, I am mad excited for that movie. That's gonna be a pretty big one, I think. Like, I'm actually think it could be like one of. I think it could be a pretty substantial movie. I think it's gonna be really cool. So I got this email, and it became the talk of the town. We are in slow movie times. I gotta say that. we are definitely in slow movie news time. So it's weird doing a show, but I like doing a show, so we're doing it. But HBO Max sent out an email, said integration test email 1, and HBO, and it said basically, I deleted it. Like I was like, oh, it's just some dumb, stupid email you get. Like it's just like you get so many dumb things, and it said so the subject was interrogation test email 1, and then in the email it says the template is used by integration test only. It was clearly a mistake, and then they said, oh, it was an intern, and so many people talked about their experiences being interns and the horrible things they did and everything like that. Sarah Benacosta talked about how she like killed the Wi-Fi of the Onion when she was an intern. So many people talked about how they made mistakes on Google calendars and all that stuff. I noticed there was a lot of support for that. All I know about is that Jason Isaacs plays Soup. Oh, I guess the thing. Okay, that's cool. Thank you very much, Satinbox64. Oh, okay. Superman vs. the Elite is one of my favorite Superman films. I really think it perfectly understands the character. The new Superman Man of Tomorrow is pretty good too. Okay, cool. That's interesting. I should check those out. Thank you for that. So this HBO Max thing was clearly just a mistake email. They said on Twitter that it was an intern. Although I question, I know, don't sell out this intern, HBO Max. I don't want to know their name. Please do not do that. I want to specify this. But the joke on Twitter was that it was an intern. And then they said, yeah, it's an intern. I think someone clearly screwed up. It's not a big deal. Everyone had a laugh, haha. But, and joked about interns and talked about how people screw up at work and like, it's fine. Everybody's cool. But I do wonder if they just went to that excuse and it's not a real intern. Maybe there aren't no interns. Maybe there's never been internships and we all thought there were internships, but there never were. And they can't reveal that because this would break up the whole system. The interrogation email, guys, is behind everything. Like, if you really think about it, the interrogation test email 1, why is it number 1? Like, what does that mean? Like, what are even emails? I don't know. The point is, it was funny. It's fun. They handled the PR well. I know people are talking on Twitter. But if whoever did it, if you're an intern or not, I hope you're doing better. It seems like everybody feels for you. But I'm waiting for interrogation test email 2 to drop. If someone makes a mixtape called this, I would laugh. That would be funny. Then it wouldn't be a week later. But it's, yeah, interrogation test email 1. Intern for HBO Max secretly leak Matrix 4 2. See that I would have been cool. All right, so let's do trailers and stuff. There are no internships that do it too close to home. So trailers and stuff. We got a trailer for Chippendale Park Life. I'm surprised they're not banking on the Rescue Ranger nostalgia, particularly when there's that awesome cult for Gadget, which is like a totally cool cult that I'm not a part of. But but it actually looked cool. It's in the design of the kind of Mickey Mouse shorts, which are great. Looks like a fun cartoon. I'm down for that. The Centaur World trailer for a new series on Netflix about a horse that goes through a portal basically to a Centaur world. It looked fun. It looks like a fun kind of kid show. I don't know if it's like a thing that'll really hit. To me, it's like I either think the show will really hit or just be like bulldozed over. I could actually see it going either way, but it looked kind of fun. Middlemost Post. Oh yeah, I didn't actually watch that. I'm sorry. I saw there was an episode. I didn't have time. I apologize for that. The thumbnail looked nice. We got a trailer for the Patrick Star Show, which looks kind of average SpongeBob. I don't exactly understand what they're trying to do with that. Droids is on Disney Plus actually. The cartoon show Droids, which that's kind of cool. I remember liking it more than Ewoks, but I have not rewatched it. So also the trailer for Pig, which looks like a kind of sort of almost a John Wick movie where Nicolas Cage has a truffle pig that gets missing. Although truffle pigs are actually worth I understand John Wick was more about like the sentimentality and stuff, but like truffle pigs are actually like worth a lot of money. So it's like, a typical kind of thing, but it looks like that looked interesting. Whereas truffle pig is missing and he has to like figure out who stole it and stuff. That kind of was one of the more interesting ideas. We got a trailer for an Apple series called The Shrink Next Door, which stars a series starring, I believe it's the series, starring Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell. I also saw Casey Wilson in it. Apparently it's about a shrink who basically like takes advantage of his clients, and it's very unconventional, and it was a true story in New York and stuff. It To me, it like he just looked like a wacky shrink, Paul Rudd in it. It didn't like hook me, and everyone seems to go, oh, it's a great story, and I didn't get that from the trailer, so I thought they could have done a good job. A better job with that, actually. There's a trailer for a film called Die in a Gunfight, which I have heard about, and I heard people tweeting about this, like they'd heard about this script forever, which is a Blacklist script. And then I'm watching it, and I'm like, it's just Romeo and Juliet, but modern, which, like, that already, there was a thing. There's like a Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like, I know it's like not modern to anyone now, because that was like a while ago, but like, they didn't do it in a way that made it any more modern than that. It was like, I was like, they changed the names, but it's just like, why do you exist? Like, there's already been a Romeo and Juliet with guns. You're clearly not out Baz Luhrmann. It kind of looked dumb to me. I don't know. Nattenbach64 says, thought Patrick Star would be on Paramount Plus instead. Is it not? God, I don't think I cared enough to look, but I'm assuming at some point it will. But cheers to you. And then there's a Juneteenth video for Candyman. It looked cool. The problem with the release date stuff is I really used to know the release date calendar a little better, and now I don't. And I was like, that comes out at the end of August? Like, whoa. Didn't know. I was like, oh, God, I'm a little lost now. So, it's cool to be reminded that it is. I am excited for it. They talked about, like, how much has changed since shooting, the importance of Juneteenth, everything like that from the director. I thought she did a great job. It's a nice video. If you're into Candyman, I recommend it. It's midnight. I guess happy Father's Day to me. And then I watched the tree. So I haven't watched Uzumaki, the horror anime. I don't know much horror anime. I think I actually learned about horror anime from what was the Denzel Curry thing I like so much. And I don't really know much about it. It looked cool. It didn't seem that horrifying. It's just this girl going like, I grew up in this town. You see the town that's in black and white. That's neat. I wasn't so into it, but it, maybe I'll watch some of it. But I saw people wanted me to talk about it, so I am, but I don't know much about it. The director mostly talking about how they're working on, they're trying to do better, and we'll see what's going on with that. All right, so we did start late. What do we have? Okay. Let's look at this. Okay, I think we can get to everything and still have a lot of time. So that's good. All right, so the animated Mortal Kombat sequel, which is going to be called, to the Scorpion animated thing, Mortal Kombat Legends of the Realm. Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms, which sounds a lot like the USA show, to be honest with you. And people are coming back for it. But it's interesting and expected for a late summer release, which means they probably had this whole planned out long ago. I do like that Warner's is using other IP. It seems like they're direct to DVD market, and thank you for Skinny for bringing up the DC thing. But I do think, they are really good at using their IP in ways that aren't just the main big movies they make. And I think this is another example for it, even though they did obviously make a Mortal Kombat movie this year, but they're doing more with the IP than just that one movie. So I didn't see the other one. I'm sort of curious about it, but maybe I would. Passengers. What is this? What's going on right now? Passengers. Did I say Passengers? Who said Passengers? I'm so confused. Okay. So we got, there's the Space Jam voice cast controversy. So I first off, I get what everyone's saying with this because Zendaya, not sure which. I'm sorry. More because I can't pronounce things. Ryan Walterson can attest. The fact that I can speak and you can understand it is a miracle to everyone. But so it's yeah. But so they showed various character like um, Bugs, Daffy, Porky, whomever, and then Zendaya as Lola Bunny, basically advertising her. I understand that I will get to Skinny Zach films. Don't worry. I understand that you mainly hire someone like that for marketing. That's 100% why you do, not necessarily because they're a great voice actor. I'm sorry. I don't understand that marketing because nobody gives a shit. You already have characters in it, like who people want to see. But it is disrespectful to the voice actors. I think it is a little ridiculous, the whole thing. Like they really shouldn't have had. They should have, like, if they just not had Zendaya's Lola Bunny, it would have been better. But we'll see what happens with this Space Jam thing. I'm curious how well it'll do because I don't think Mike LeBron represents to little kids what Michael Jordan did. Because Michael Jordan, like, there was like that poster with the milk and like, I'm not saying LeBron isn't a big deal. I just think, like, I was a kid when Michael Jordan was, in the 90s when Michael Jordan was quite big, and it's like they really like marketed him to kids pretty dramatically, and I just don't see that as much with LeBron. So I noticed, like, when we were watching the trailer with Sophie, it just didn't connect as much with her. So we'll see. But we also like never watch sports, and that might just be my household. Skinny Zach Film says, any bad cartoons you think are misunderstood gems? I guess I used to think 12 Ounce Mouse, so that cheers to you. I can't think of any right now. I'm sorry. But maybe that one used to be. You're right. I did mean Michi. I'm curious, like, is she gonna voice Michi and Lola? And like, after you voice Michi, who could you? I mean, come on, guys. Zendaya is Michi. Everyone knows this. Like, who else can she even be? Like, every performance she's done since Michi has not been good. I just don't. Zendaya is Michi. I mean, come on, right? So we've learned. So Disney has tapped top African talent. It seems like they're actually going after other countries for once, which is kind of be interesting. They're apparently top tune talent across Africa for Kizamato Generation Fire, Disney Plus original anthology film, anthology of animated films set to premiere on Disney Plus in 2022. I know they have other films as well. I'm kind of curious what they're doing with that. We don't really know or have seen very much of anything. So we shall see what happens with that. Sorry, I just deleted something I realized I didn't watch. So I can't really talk about it. Anthony Mackie did this interview with Variety where he talks about basically the whole thing of people making a big deal over him and Bucky having a relationship. He kind of, or shipping them basically, kind of like rejects it in a lot of ways because, like, if two men have a relationship, it's like they're in love and all this stuff. I forget his exact quote, but my thing with this is, to me, he could have just like said, like, if people want to think that, then it's canon. To me, it's like you kind of just let those things go. And I get that, like, I get people's obsession sometimes with certain things like that, and that can go a little too far, and like it can be annoying. But it's also like, just like let people believe what they want to believe. Don't. I thought it was like maybe not the greatest little rant he could have done, and I think there's another case of like him going like, no, put this in. I want people to understand, like, that doesn't mean because it's a homophobe or what. It just like, it really sounded sort of tone deaf and misguided, and I don't. To me, it's like, just like, if people want to believe whatever they want, like, let them. I just don't understand what the problem is. Ryan Walterson says, and LeBron James is Gwangi, Danny DeVito is Drongle. I don't even remember. But cheers to you, Ryan. Nattenbox64 says, cue annoying clownfish TV jingle. Oh yeah, cheers to you. I noticed, Nattenbox, I noticed people were annoyed at Scarlett Johansson, like the quartering, and people were annoyed that she said like, well, if you look at Black Widow and Iron Man 2, she was kind of like more just like kind of like an object, not really a person. I watched actually some of Iron Man 2 coincidentally, and I did think like, wow, she has really actually come a long way. And then like the next day I heard her in an interview saying like, yeah, this character's kind of come a long way. It's interesting to see how times have changed with all these things. And it's like, yeah, it wasn't like she's not mad at Marvel. She's not like slagging them off. She's kind of just talking about how like she's been able to evolve with his culture, and like how Tony Stark does say like, I want one, like she's like an object, not a person, which 100% is true. I watched that scene recently actually, and it's 100% true. And like, I don't see what the big problem is. She's basically saying how it's amazing that things have changed, not that like she hates Marvel, they're evil or something. Like at the time, that she even brings up, at the time it was acceptable and she had fun shooting it. She really like actually went out of her way to clarify. Like Scarlett Johansson's not great with quotes. I think we all know that, but I thought she did an actual good job of explaining like times have changed. There was some objections when you look back on that, but I think things are, I think we're in a better place now. And and I like being in that movie, and she admits she like wanted to be in that movie. She pursued that part. Like it's not, to me it's just saying like, hey, that was acceptable now, times have changed. uh Come on. I just it's not, we don't have to like throw every woman under the bus who objects to like, I don't understand people do that. It's really lame, it's really pathetic. But I actually thought she handled it well. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but well, a couple interesting things I don't think people talk about. So Todd Haynes is making a film called May December with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore. That actually sounds really cool. I like Todd Haynes a lot, actually. Where I believe she's playing a part, and she's an actress playing a part, and she's interviewing Julianne Moore for research. I think that could be actually really cool. And I also think like Natalie Portman works well with an interesting director. I think she works at her best, like if you look at Jackie or Black Swan, for example. So I'm curious about that, and I like Todd Haynes. And Alexander Payne is going to be working with Paul Giamatti. They're kind of reuniting for something. I didn't know because everyone's saying like, because he's doing like an indie thing after Downsize bombed, obviously. I totally forgot about the Rose McGowan controversy with him, which he like denies, and a lot of people don't agree with. I don't know. It's confusing, and I just like, it's one of those things where like I definitely believe Rose McGowan, but he didn't seem to like get upset. So I don't know what's going on there, but it definitely seemed like the studios don't really want to deal with him. It sounds like there might be a little, when there's smoke, there's fire. It might be something there, or maybe like I don't know. I'm not. I trust Rose McGowan in what she said, although it has been disputed. I will say that, and there's no evidence of the claims she made about his career, but I do think she's being honest about parts of it. But it's kind of tricky, that whole thing, and I shouldn't have sidetracked on it. It's like a weird, if you look into it, you're like, but then this and then that. It's like one of those things where like, I don't think we'll get an answer. I think she's being honest. End of story. But he's definitely like, Alexander Payne's in a weird place in his career because you actually can't explain. Anyway, I'm not. Anyway, it's just whatever. Read up on it, you'll understand. But Alexander Payne is going back with Paul Giamatti to work on something currently, which I think is probably good for him. He hasn't really worked on something for a while, and he's an interesting director. It's interesting when he got this is actually interesting points about this. When Alexander Payne, when he wrote Sideways, George Clooney really wanted to be in it, and he refused and picked Paul Giamatti over George Clooney, which is why George Clooney's been trying to get an Alexander Payne movie for fucking years. Like it was like by the time he got into Descendants, it's interesting like how much he loves Paul Giamatti. But I think he definitely like put Paul Giamatti on the track to be like the character actor, all these things. And Sideways, I remember being a good movie. It's been a while, so it's interesting. Oh yeah, Alexander Payne has a lot of creepiness. about him because I know anyway. I'm gonna walk away from Alexander Payne. I don't. Yeah, he's definitely going indie because the studios know something's wrong, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Sorry, I should have my shit more together for that. Um, uh, so Toxic Avenger, we're hearing a lot about that remake. Um, and a lot of money being poured into it. And it's kind of interesting. You know, Elijah Wood was cast this past week, and I keep hearing more and more about this remake. And I'm curious. Like, I don't think I like Trauma. Nothing against it. I don't know if Trauma nostalgia is as big as this, but I was like, is there like a really good script? I'm curious about that. So yeah, now I'm remembering all that Alexander. Anyway, sorry. I'm just like, yeah, he definitely did something fucked up. Anyway, sorry. So apparently Silk, the Spider-Man spinoff series from Sony, looks like it's going to Amazon Studios. The showrunner Tom Spizzalzi or whatever has signed a deal with Amazon Prime and so forth. Okay. I'm totally oh, I should probably take a break soon. Oh, and then we're gonna play. Okay. I sort of understand where I am. I probably should have. It's weird when you. Well, I guess whatever. I don't know when this show is ending. So in Obits, I wanted to talk about two people. First off, Jambi, or the actor John Paragon, died this past week. Who played Jambi on Pee-wee's Playhouse. He was a big part of my childhood. He was a great actor. Sad to have lost him. That's sad. I used to love Pee-wee's Playhouse. And then Ned Beatty, who... Damn, Ned Beatty did a lot of great stuff from Robert Altman's Nashville to... a lot of people wanted me to say Network. I mainly stuck it to things that people remembered him from, whether it be Toy Story 3 or Superman 1 and 2. But he was a really great actor. He was a great character actor. Just the fact that, like, I think the reason the Network thing is so pointed out because you can just play a clip and it's his whole performance in that movie, and he's just so good in that. I think he had an Oscar nomination in it. So it is really that's a huge loss for Ned Beatty. I really love seeing Ned Beatty in anything. Even when he showed up in Toy Story 3, I was happy. Also, Homicide: Life on the Street. We lost two major people from Homicide. He was great on Homicide. God, I need to do a Homicide read at some point. All right. Ryan Walterson said, never forget Lloyd Kaufman as canon in the MCU, the DCEU, and the AVGN universe. Okay. Cheers to you, Ryan. All right. So, I'm hoping that this first thing works. But I made a new end card. It is going to premiere with the Luca review. I was going to do In the Heights. I had it ready. But I thought because I felt like I didn't want to do it for that because I felt bad for not liking it as much. So I didn't want to do it for that. But I wanted to play a longer cut of it that you actually won't see. When you see it, it'll be a 20-second thing. But I made this week. And it's just a quick little thing. These little guys. See that guy with the hair there. Guy with the cat. That's the cat guy. Little guy with headphones. There we go. I thought, I forgot Deliverance. You're right, Austin. I thought it'd just be cool. A cool little thing I made. But yeah, you'll be seeing that as the end card. So no more of the bookcase. No more bookcase. This little stupid thing that I made. It's just a quick little fun. I don't know. I'm kind of messing around with some animation lately. I just thought it'd be cool to do that. So I guess it's a world premiere thing. So you're seeing a longer cut. I'm gonna put the longer cut on for patrons only. But you'll see the longer one there. Daniel Vasquez says thoughts on Hotel Transylvania 2 now opening against Addams Family 2. I guarantee you one of them will move, and I didn't realize that. So thank you very much. Cheers to you, Daniel Vasquez. Okay, now, whenever this ends, R.I.P. bookcase. I'm actually gonna put a thing of the bookcase so you hear the real audio, which was just like the TV playing it. Some that might be a Patreon thing. So I'm just going to play the beginning of the anthem thing here, a couple minutes, and then we'll play the rest. I'm probably just going to put the whole thing. They've given me permission to cut the whole thing later. I don't know how it happened that we got that, but you can just hear the beginning of this for a couple minutes while I use the bathroom. And I want to thank you all for being here. Sorry we're running so late. And then I will do my what to watch, then we'll do La Luna, then we'll do questions. And that's how we're rolling. Anyway, I'll be right back after this. I relate to the guy in the sunglasses. Thank you guys for liking the. It's just some simple little things, trying to mix it up a little bit. I also don't have that bookcase anymore. If you hadn't noticed, so I felt a little silly. I was like, I kind of need to change it up. All right, here is the anthem, and let's hit play.
What are you guys doing here?
I hope that's not
this
too
Gordon
loud.
Is the other the podcast.
Right back.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob, and it is the end of the podcast, but we are here doing a special episode-ish thing.
A little drop in.
Crap Live. Yeah, a little drop in.
Little
for,
cameo.
Movie Crap Live.
We're here for
so,
sweeps.
You have seen. Yeah, well, obviously it's sweeps. That's why he brought in the big guns from the OD Anthem podcast. But you've seen my face before. Obviously, I was doing the 5 things to watch last year during the pandemic. And, I can only carry so many shows a week. I already carry the OD Anthem podcast week after week after week. So I said, you know what? I'm tired. We should bring Corey in this time, and he can give you some other things that you should watch.
Well, to be fair, I did this once too, and I'm not to say that the internet has cooled down yet, but it's making its way back to normal temperatures after my appearance. So we got
the
5
The anger just caused the heat to rise. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I should have thought of less less controversial picks, which we'll do this.
This ain't
time.
gonna be the one. This ain't gonna be the one. Go ahead. Yeah, let's let them hear it.
Let's roll through. We both have a top 5 here of things to watch on streaming services.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if people haven't seen the show, then obviously they're gonna know that we don't agree on everything. We don't agree on a lot. Especially as time has gone on, you'll find that your friends don't always agree with you on things. So we tried to come up with a list of just 5, and I have some knife marks here on my forearm that will show how that went. So instead, what we decided to do was go 5 for each of us. So you'll get 5 from Corey and 5 from me of things to watch on streaming.
So my number 5 pick, it's really easy if you're a classic movie aficionado like me and a pretentious filmmaker like me to just make a list of 5 classic films and hoard it over people. If they haven't seen it, then they're a bad cinephile of some sort of kind. But I chose not to do that.
Your living girlfriend, the one that hasn't seen a bunch of his movies.
What do you mean you haven't seen some random movie from the 1930s? I will say to her on an almost nightly basis. But I'm not gonna do that this whole list except for this one pick, which is Chinatown. And the reason why I'm picking Chinatown is because I am about to move from the apartment that we've been doing this podcast from for quite a long time to a new place in Chinatown, and I will absolutely be watching Chinatown at some point after the move to see it again and get all caught up. I think I've watched it twice since we're in LA already, so I don't need a special reason. But if you haven't seen Chinatown in a long time, I highly suggest you go check it out. It's on Paramount Plus right now.
And if you're a reasonable person who doesn't have Paramount Plus because you're not going to pay for that service, well, apologies. You're going to be able to watch it.
They have a special. They get a 30-day free or something like that. And listen,
okay.
We were discussing this before. We don't think Paramount Plus is a must-have streaming service, but The Good Fight's coming out soon. If you're a Star Trek person, there's things you could fill the 30-day free trial with. It doesn't just have 100%. To be Chinatown.
If you are a 40 to
Hello.
55-year-old
Okay,
female,
that was the O the
Paramount
Anthem
Plus has
podcast.
exactly
Very
what you're
nice.
looking for.
If
So,
CBS
very
speaks to
long.
you as a person,
What to
then
watch,
Paramount
which
Plus
is
is where you
funny.
need to be.
So if you want to watch the full segment
also,
of
you're moving
them,
to, let's call it Chinatown
when the video
adjacent.
is
So is
released
there a
on
Chinatown
Monday,
adjacent
you
historic
can-
movie that we
O
can
the
talk
Anthem is a
about? Or
podcast
because
No.
I
that
remember
I've been
he was
on.
in Chinatown. So
the neighborhood is
I don't
called
know how many
Dogtown,
times,
but
they're
it's
a
not
great
like the
podcast, and we
Dogtown from
kinda
Dogtown and Z
wanted to,
Boys. I
like,
wish it
throw some
was.
support for them,
Because
I
then I
think
would
they're-
just recommend
it's a
that.
good podcast to go over.
Yeah, I don't know
where
that's
and
streaming
stuff
either,
Like that.
so.
I know they do a live stream on Mondays.
So moving on
sorry,
to
subscribe to them on
my the
YouTube.
most important side
I've known
is my
Corey and I
pick,
went to high
and
school
I
together.
didn't give these in any
I've known
particular
Rob since
order.
about
I think it's
2000
impossible to take such a varied list, which I
Three?
had to
When
prune
we
down
did a
a
short
lot.
film
I think I
together.
started with 20 or 25 things to get
but,
them down to 5.
which
So in no particular
you can
order,
find
but
on my YouTube channel.
more about
They're
what I've
great
seen
guys.
most
They do a good
recently
podcast.
and which
I've been
moved
listening to
me
it forever.
most recently.
I don't get to listen
Mar
to it
of
regularly
Easttown
as I
on
used to.
HBO,
I should have
specifically
introed this
HBO
segment
Max.
better.
It is not going to be for everybody. It is a
Okay,
slow burn.
let's do this again. All right, so
I
now I'm going
work
to
with
do.
a lot of Gen Zers and
Oh, it is still
millennials,
playing.
like early millennials. Like I
Sorry.
found out that an intern who works for me was
on.
born, Corey, the year we graduated
bad.
high school.
Okay. My bad there. Hold on. Let me fix that. Okay. We're good now. Sorry about that. Well, it's okay because I screwed up when I was talking anyway, so we're good on that. Audio is still playing. Thank you, Nattenbox64. Jib, LOL. Is it stopped playing? I think it did. Cheers to you, Nattenbox. Thank you. I'm usually... Can we still hear it? Hold on. Now I gotta check. We're good on that. Audio is still playing. Thank you, Nattenbox. All right. Whatever. It's been a long day, and we're doing a late show, so I think that's... No, it's actually good, because I really... All right. So this is the What to Watch segment, where I tell you cool things to watch on... where I talk about... things to watch on streaming and various streaming services. I don't just pick one. I just kind of talk about stuff that I watched recently that I didn't do reviews of, that I just want to tell you about and recommend that you can watch. And tonight I have special guests, Oh the Anthem podcast. I go way back with Rob and Corey. I knew Corey from high school. Rob I met in 2003 when we made a short film together, meeting an old friend. They're great guys. They have a great podcast going over current events and so forth. And I've been listening to that I think since it started, basically. I'm not as regular as I used to be, but you should check it out. They stream usually Monday nights or Sunday, but subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. However, I'm going to go over my picks first, and then it will cut to them. Obviously, we're watching this live, and it doesn't cut to them, but you saw that, and you'll see it later in the thing. So, here is some recommendations and stuff I watch that I recommend on streaming. So 2 things on HBO, a bunch of things on HBO Max, but first thing, With Nail and I is on HBO Max. It is a British film that I had not seen until recently. I've been wanting to see it. Don't worry, Cornbread. I redid the thing. With Nail and I, which is a British film. It's sort of like a British hangout movie, basically. These 2 actors who go to a kind of country house in England. It has Richard Curtis, who I realized after watching this, I was like, where did I really see Richard Curtis from? Like, probably a cool movie. I'm like, no, it's Spice World. It's a pretty cool movie. I think it actually probably influenced a lot of the hangout films from the 90s, and it's definitely a cool thing to watch. There's a gay character that I think is a little how they play that is a little questionable. However, I do think it's a real great movie. It stars Richard Curtis and the Doctor from the American Doctor Who, or that Fox show, if you remember that. I also watched Broadcast News, which is also on HBO Max. I mainly saw it because of the Polly Platt series that You Must Remember This did, and I'd never seen it. It was actually really good, talking about a newsroom and this woman who's caught between Albert Brooks and William Hurt, and it's really wonderful. James L. Brooks directed it, who you probably know from producing The Simpsons, but I thought it was a good kind of adult drama. I kind of was like, you guys are messy, but it was really compelling. Like, I haven't seen many films that are like adult that also like move and flow very well, and that one definitely did. My big thing on Hulu is MODOK. I really like MODOK. I've seen 9 of the 10 episodes. I think it's really wonderful. I know everyone wants me to watch Invincible. I have not, but I have watched MODOK, and every time I have a long day at work, I sit down and watch MODOK, and I don't know, relate, I guess. I'm not sure, but I love MODOK. It is a really great I don't know. I just think it's really great. I think it's being under talked about. Really, I think it's a really wonderful cartoon, and probably my favorite Marvel show. I'd say currently, of the new batch at least. Starstruck on HBO Max. I actually watched this when it was airing in England. We were like torrenting and stuff, and it's actually a cool show. It's sort of like a Notting Hill type thing of a regular person who falls in love with a movie star. I don't know forget the comedic actress who leads it, but it's a wonderful little show. It's only 6 episodes. It just went on HBO Max this week, which I didn't know it was going to. 2 movies I watched with Sophie recently. One is Ibra, I believe, Horror of the Deep, which that is on HBO Max, but the English dub is on YouTube, or also called Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. It's a fun little Godzilla movie, not the greatest. It's good. You have a good time. Mothra is really sold as being in it, but Mothra just is basically just transportation for people in it. Mothra does very little of anything, which is disappointing. But it's a fun movie. If you've never checked it out, I would recommend it if you like Godzilla movies. It's not like if you haven't seen a Godzilla movie, do not watch it first. But if you like them, it's worth a watch. The Little Fugitive, I think I talked about it last time, but I watched that with Sophie as well. It's a very influential 1953 film about a little kid who runs away to Coney Island after he believes he killed his brother. He didn't. It became very influential on New York independent film, including John Cassavetes and Stanley Kubrick. Really liked it and everything like that, by a still photographer who basically like made a kind of Steadicam rig with a small kind of commercial camera and made this film with it, and was able to actually capture Coney Island in the 50s in a way people were surprised by. It's a really great movie. You can find it on YouTube, as well as you can also find it on Canopy if you have that. But if you don't have Canopy or want to pay for it or whatever, it's on YouTube. I highly recommend it. It's a great movie. I have filmed a review of it. I do not know when it's going to come out, but you should definitely recommend it. I think it's actually one of the most wonderful little movies. I just think it's and it also very much influential on the French New Wave and Francois Truffaut's 400 Blows. Droids is on Disney Plus in the Star Wars retro vintage whatever section. I remember it being a fun cartoon, but this is just to let you know it's there, because it was, I think, the first time it's really been on streaming in good quality. 2 YouTube things. There's a channel, it's been on Facebook as well, called MTV Vault. They take old MTV news footage and put it out on there. They had like Cindy Crawford talking to Adam Sandler and Chris Farley while they were on SNL. They had behind the scenes, like at the after party of the MTV Music Awards, I believe in '85. Like a lot of kind of interesting stuff. If you're interested in older MTV, it is a great YouTube channel. They also have Facebook and Facebook video thing, but that I recommend if you're interested. I'm finding you can find some MTV stuff, and more of that is coming out on YouTube, because I've heard there's like actually people going like, hey, like, what happened to these hours of MTV? You guys, I want my MTV, guys. Like, let's let out. And I have to acknowledge, Quentin Reviews put out the Fred video and the iCarly video in a week. I think he put out like 7 hours plus of content in a week. That guy is insane. I haven't finished the iCarly video. I'm like slowly watching it. The Fred video was great. I've always liked Quentin. He barely knows me, but I think he's a great YouTuber, and he wonderful videos he's putting out lately. Book of Life is on Disney Plus. I love Book of Life. Might as well put it on here. Kung Fu Panda is on Tubi. So if you've wanted to watch Kung Fu Panda and don't want to pay for a streaming service, you can watch it. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, I also watched on HBO Max recently. That is an amazing parody movie. It is sometimes doesn't age the greatest, but it, for the most part, is a really hilarious like kind of parody of biopics. Denzel Curry Unlocked, which is on YouTube, is a really great hip-hop animated film, which I reviewed recently. I wanted to throw that in there. Adventure Time Distant Lands is also on HBO Max, and Predestination I found on Tubi. It is a great kind of trans time travel story. If you're like, the trailer doesn't say that, trust me, it is awesome. You should see it. I definitely keep remembering that movie. I think I was like not too enthusiastic. I forget what my review was, but you should check that out. Anyway, that's what I am going to pick for. That's what I. That's what I'm going to pick for my What to Watch segment. Now let's go to Corey and Rob, talk about what they suggest to watch on streaming currently, what they suggest to watch on streaming this month, and thank you to them for doing this. All right, well, thank you very much to the Anthem and Corey and Rob for being on here. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. They run a great podcast. And check the description below for the list of everything that we talked about in this What to Watch segment. And thank you very much for being here. And check out their YouTube channels as well as Corey Baker Filmmaker and Rob's Everyman Reviews. I believe it's Everyman Reviews. Either way, all the links are in the description. And thank you very much for watching. All right, so what Ryan Welch said, we had fun with Quentin at VidCon, never forget. That's true. I had an amazing time with him at VidCon. Cheers to you, Ryan Walterson. Okay. La Luna. So now I'm going to talk about the short La Luna. Hold on. Apologies. This is a looser vibe show. Sorry it's so late to everyone. I appreciate everyone who's here, by the way. Thank you very much. You know, it's a Father's Day gift to me that you're here, I guess. I don't know. Apparently I'm getting pancakes somewhere. I'm excited about that. But anyway, so La Luna is the animated short from Pixar by Enrico Casarosa, who also directed Luca this weekend. So I thought it would be an appropriate time to review La Luna. Now, La Luna, if you don't remember it, has no dialogue in it. They kind of mumble. They might be speaking in Italian under the mumbling, but I couldn't really make it out, so I don't know if you can understand that. However, it's basically about a father, a grandfather, and a son, which actually are credited anytime I find a thing as kid, dad, and grandpa, as Bambino, Papa, and Nonno, I believe. This, you just see them in a boat. They're kind of deciding what to do. You think they might be fishing or something, and then the moon comes down to them, basically, and they take kind of glass stars off the moon and clean it up. It's a short little nice. It's a nice little short, and it's actually pretty cute. It's very surreal and weird. It actually reminds me a lot of Winsor McKay, and it kind of has this wonderful like dads going on a usual traditional fishing trip kind of vibe to it, which I actually quite enjoyed. It's actually a really good Father's Day little short, actually, interestingly enough. It was placed before Brave and was actually nominated for Best Animated Short. It did not win, and it's actually celebrating its 9th anniversary this week. But it's a nice little trip, and I do like it reminded me of like kind of a little short, like the Winsor McKay stuff when he was making animated shorts, like a quick little thing. It's nice, it's sweet. They clean up the moon and they go away. And I think when I'm reviewing more of these animated shorts, I'm kind of realizing like some of them are just like, that's a nice little trip. It's kind of weird. Like, why are the stars glass? Why are they cleaning it up? Just like kind of a nice, quick little thing there that I think was really, really just kind of a wonderful thing. And I actually found out La Luna is Italian for the moon, which I didn't know. The director was born in Italy. Actually went to School of Visual Arts, the same college I went to, which I thought was kind of cool. Apparently, the plot was inspired by his own childhood and tales by Antonio de Saint-Exupéry, I think, and Italio Calavino, and his style comes from Hayao Miyazaki's animes, and the La Luna by the Italian cartoonist Cosavaldo Calvadal, I believe. Which you can tell it's like sort of like a different European style. I just like the kind of overall vibe of it. It's just sort of a nice, relaxing short. It has a Michael Giacchino score to it. You just see them kind of clean up the moon together, come together, do this thing. both the grandfather and father are very critical of one another. I remember at the time being sort of underwhelmed by it. Maybe it's because I wasn't super excited to see Brave. Um, and I was hoping Brave would be better than it was. Although I've had to watch Brave a lot of times. And Brave actually has a great little short about its prequel short, which I watched recently, was actually pretty good. This is just a nice, relaxing short. If you're needing to calm down before bedtime, it's just a nice idea of like people cleaning up the moon so it can look nice in the sky, and that's just a wonderful little feeling. I think it shows that you can tell this director. He said he's very influenced by Italian cinema. You can tell that from Luca. You can tell that from this also. It's just like, I think oftentimes with Italian cinema, it's more about this idea of like taking something and making it more surreal. Fellini, for example, I think it sort of reminds me actually a bit of like the idea of Fellini. Like, you go into this world and like it represents more. It definitely represents like something about his childhood with his father and his grandfather, but it also is just a nice little moon story, and it just helps you relax. It reminds you of the past while also giving you kind of a nice bedtime story. And I think like there's nothing better to think of the moon when thinking of just relaxing and drifting off into your dreams while you clean up some glass stars for some reason. All right, so that was the Luna. Let's do questions. Again, I'm sorry. Let's hope we end this before 1 o'clock, shall we? Can we maybe? I don't know. We'll see if we do. All right, so I have 3 Patreon questions, 2 from Nathaniel Foga, of course. Jordan Vachard first says, have you started Invincible yet? No, I haven't. If not, do you think you will before 2022? Haha, just kidding. I know you're a busy guy. Just giving you a hard time because it rocks, and I hope you'll enjoy it. But if you have started it, how are you liking it so far? I have not started it. I feel bad because I also I didn't bring this up in What to Watch. I watched the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I finished that, and that's just so spectacular. I'm excited to watch it with Sophie when she's a little older. I feel like she won't really get it. That's a wonderful... I just really finally got to watch all of it in the right order and everything, and that was great. I will eventually. I think hopefully I will figure out a time to do it. Part of me is like, let's finish MODOK and then I'll figure out Invincible. So I should get on that. It seems like everyone really... And Jordan Bouchard's really like on this, like, have you done it yet, though? Could you? Nathaniel Focus says, how happy do you think Sophie will be knowing Scoob will get a sequel? I think she'll be very, very happy. I meant to answer that question earlier. Sorry, Nathaniel Focus, but I think she'll be very into it. I definitely think she'll watch it. And then a second one, similar to Johnny Test, what's a cartoon that if it got a revival, you'd be shocked it actually managed to get one? Maybe the Mad cartoon, or maybe Street Sharks. Let's go with that. Oh no, sorry, I messed that up. I almost did it. Nanbox64 said, "Are you familiar with Frank Ocean?" Not really. Maybe I should try to listen to some. Nanbox64. Cheers to you. Thank you for the super chat. All right, let's try to answer as much of these in the next, let's say 10 minutes, and then we should really cut this off. Zane Powers, what would be your perfect Matrix 2? Actually, I think like a prequel about Morpheus. I think that would have been cool. Is Hiro Sonata a real samurai? I don't know enough, so I'm going to say maybe. Cornbread, will Carrie Fisher, finally getting a star on the Walk of Fame, join the main trio? Is there other missing Star Wars actors you'd want on the Walk of Fame? Jordan Soul Jones, Anthony Daniels, Wolfman. I think Cantina Wolfman, 100%. Like I said, actually, I said this on Twitter. People have to pay the Walk of Fame like $50,000 if you get selected. So you get nominated, and they're like, oh, if you want your star, you got to pay. It's like $50,000. Like, so a lot of times movie studios do it as like publicity. So they'll pay for it, or fan clubs pay for it a lot, but someone has to pay $50,000 to do that. That's like the only honor I've heard, that you have to pay directly to the organization. It's like insane. I don't. Austin, why is it easier to teach oil drillers to be astronauts than teach astronauts to be oil drillers? Because I heard about that Ben Affleck thing. Nathaniel Foga, should Scoob 2 just be a Dick Dastardly and Muttley movie? I mean, I wouldn't object to that, Nathaniel Foga. I think that could be cool. Zane Powers, do you suffer from imposter syndrome? I've always heard that. I just suffer from probably just sometimes feeling, I guess, sort of, but then it's probably just like, I'm usually like, yeah, but I can do it. They'll probably hate it, but I'll do it anyway, kind of thing. Bruce Parker, how did we get an iCarly School of Rock reunion where Cosgrove and Jack Black barely interacted? Is that happen? I didn't know about that. Not plausible. Will 12 Ounce Mouse become the latest movie crap meme along with Creech and Paul Blart? I wouldn't. Why not? 12 Ounce Mouse rules. Hottest DILFs in animation. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, Mandela Butterfly. Well, first off, me, because, I was in Knockboard, it was animated. And then, probably the professor from Powerpuff Girls. Eighth, the Wind Rider. Have you ever seen a riot caused by a movie? I mean, I guess I did see a fight break out at the Warriors. Have I told that story? That's a whole story. But I basically saw the Warriors and a fight broke out right at the beginning during the Cyrus thing. True story in Baltimore. So props to me, I guess. Zane Powers, who's a character everyone says is hot, yet you think they look middling, if not worse. I actually don't like Katie Holmes, and I don't think she's that attractive. And people would really be like, no, but she's super hot. Never like Katie Holmes. I'm sorry. I was nice about the farting thing, but like people in college would be like, why do you like Katie? It's just like someone who like, I remember like I had a subscription to Rolling Stone. I was like, ugh, her again. Like I just like do not get Katie Holmes. Like this is like, I'm sorry, Tom Cruise. It's just not my thing. Nathaniel Foga, what's a brand you'll never understand how they got so? What's a band? Sorry, that you'll never understand how Dave Matthews Band. Just my eternal enemies. Carter Wright. Hold on, where do we go? Should Candyman feature a cover of the Candyman song from Willy Wonka? Oh my God, yes. Obvious, but yes. Sweet potato fries. Favorite type of burger? Cheeseburger. Probably. I had a good burger. My wife made a good burger this week. That was pretty good. But I think just a cheeseburger. Not plausible. How do you relax after a hectic time? How do you calm yourself? I do meditate. That helps. Sometimes I'll just watch some videos like Rock and Roll True Stories. I don't know if you know that channel. They'll just give me some quick things and just like calms me down. But like if you use breathing techniques and stuff, I think that actually works as well. Bruce Parker, worst crime committed by a sitcom character. Zach Morris is trash. Check out that. That's what I would say. Probably something he did. I guarantee you. Sunspot Mill. Should Paul Blart make an appearance in Scoob 2? I mean, why? Absolutely. Zane Power's most uncomfortable question you've been asked. I can't think of it now. It's probably like something to do with like. I can't think of it now, but I don't think I've been asked anything too bad on here. Not that I'm inviting things, but a cornbread question. I've watched Gremlins 2, the new batch, 5 times this week. Whoa, holy shit. I'm on a Gremlins kick and I require you to give me 3 silly details for Gremlins 3. That's a lot. I would say they should be in a mall and they play with toys and they eat Dippin' Dots? I don't know. Sorry. But have you watched that Key and Peele sketch? Because that's amazing. I'm going to watch that after this. Nattenbox 64, favorite Hamilton song. One Shot is up there off the top of my head. Never Gonna Be President Now. The Reynolds Papers I ended up liking for some reason. The rap battles were pretty good as well. Favorite part of Quentin's Fred video? I would actually say like I don't know if there's a favorite part, but his whole analysis of Fred and really going through everything, I actually respect that because regardless of how we all feel about Fred, it was such a massive thing to like really understand it. I like that I think understanding like the end of the character, my only thing with the Fred thing is I would actually tell the creator, like, I really wish he hadn't tried to keep bringing Fred back. I think the end was actually perfect, to be honest with you, from what I understand. Thoughts on Sparks in light of the Edgar Wright documentary? I need to understand who that is. I barely understand them as bands, so maybe I should watch that documentary. Not plausible. Why is everyone now caring about superhero sex lives, both Marvel and DC? I have no clue. I think people are bored. Zane Powers, what happened to that parody Star Wars Phaedron and Salzburg were doing Don't You Want to See Black Stormtrooper shows. I didn't know about that. I don't know why, because I think that would do well, but like then you're competing with Spaceballs, and I think that's a bad idea. Where's the Katana Wolfman spinoff from Nathaniel Foga? I think that would go to Disney Plus, but I think it would be good. Austin, does watching DVR of a show help it? If you watch it, I think within the first couple days it actually does, from my understanding. So it does. Let's see. Other questions? Hold on. I saw like a Metallica or Slayer. I probably know Metallica better, but I respect Slayer more. Not plausible. Thanks for being so chill. Nice way to end my Saturdays. Oh, thank you. Not plausible. Best father in animation. Me. No, I'm just going to go with the professor from Powerpuff Girls again. Zane Powers, is it possible to get through the itchy and scratchy dungeon game without the wizard key? I sort of get that reference. Maybe? I forget. Austin, did some say come out to play during the fight with the bottle? Oh. I don't remember that. I just remember a lot of punching. I wasn't involved. I was hiding. Or I was just off to say, do you not like Katie Holmes because of the farting thing? No. The farting thing just happened because we noticed she's always away from everyone, that she's always never in the same shot as anyone. So we just made, like, as soon as someone noticed that we were watching an old job I had, the farting joke happened, and it just never ended. Cornbread, are you jealous because you don't have a diamond-studded 12-ounce mouse Blu-ray like all the rich Hollywood elites? I actually do have a 12-ounce mouse, the movie DVD, so the rich elites don't got shit on me. Why doesn't French Stewart have more of a career? Zane Powers, I never liked him, so that's probably why. Zane Powers, thoughts on 3 Days Grace? I have no thoughts because I barely understand who they are. Pig Pancake, is there another international animation director other than Miyazaki that you find very influential, like in France or Russia? The Russian Jungle Book I read is good. I don't know if that's influential. In France, I would say Slyvan Chomet, but I don't know about influential. I think that's, well, The King and the Mockingbird, or however many times it says, I would say that is. So I think that should, and Miyazaki is himself influenced by that film. So I would say that one. All right. I think it is getting late. I think I'll do, is Creech part of the Luca universe? Why not? Let me find someone. Favorite elf, St. Powers. Not that elf on the shelf. Let's find somebody. Ace the Wind Rider, Creshman. When will we get to the fireworks factory? Well, we're going to the box factory. Why you hate Dave Matthews Band from Austin? Because they were shoved down my throat by like people in high school. It was annoying. All right. I think that is it. Thank you all. Wow, we are really late this time. Sorry that this started so late. Sorry that there won't be a show. I think we're going to have a full week of videos from Monday to Friday next week. If anything's late, since if there isn't a movie crap, it'll just move over to Saturday. I am going to do a Neighbors review, but make the segment of it, I actually filmed an extra part to it. So that I might have what to watch and the La Luna segments come out during the day instead of the night. I might try to do that with Movie Crap Shorts to let you know. Nothing else there. Have a happy Father's Day. Just call your dad, send him a text, be like, hey, thanks for being my dad and stuff. I got my dad a Doctor Strange shirt, which he really liked. So if you're wondering, Ryan Walchison asked me a question, so I'll answer it. Where's my burrito? It's I put it in the fridge. It's right there. Anyway, y'all have a good night. Happy Father's Day. Thank you all very much for coming out. Thank you everyone who gave a super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for liking this video, subscribing, just being around. It's cool. I will be back in 2 weeks. Thank you for liking the end card that I made. Thank you to the Anthem for that very long video. Everything. I will see you all next time. And subscribe if you would like to. All right. See you guys next time. Bye.